So I'm Derek Sloan. I am the coordinator of the consortium. I work in UNITE4TB for Radboudumc, but I also have an academic position at the University of St Andrews. So we're about halfway through the project now. It had started before I joined, so I joined a train that was already in motion. But over the course of our time, the first 2 years were built around establishing the consortium, setting up the clinical trial sites, preparing the study protocols, and getting ready to launch our trials. We've finished much of that now, and so we're currently in the active recruitment phase of the clinical trials. We've got one trial that's already finished, and excitingly today we had some preliminary results. We've got 2 trials currently still in progress, the Paradigm trial and the Enable trial, and we've got 2 more protocols that we'll initiate in the coming months, and we're busy recruiting and managing patients over the next 1 to 2 years. And then that will overlap into a final period of data analysis and results dissemination. So we're on track, we're about halfway through. We've got lots of work still to do. A big project like this is full of challenges. So to start with, the consortium launched in 2021, still in the midst of the COVID-19 pandemic. So we were trying to bring an enormous group of people together from all over the world. We were trying to arrange to conduct complicated clinical trials at a bunch of global settings. And at the time, we couldn't travel to visit one another or to visit trial sites or to build the relationships that were necessary for the trial. So that was the first challenge. And then as we were starting to build the protocols and build the structures for the trial, we discovered that things were difficult, that we couldn't control all of the timelines in terms of getting approvals to start the trial or in terms of arranging drug shipments. And so that was a source of worry and stress for a period of time. But I think also some opportunities came out of that. We built stronger relationships within the consortium as we overcame problems where we had to advocate for changes to the rules that we have to work under in order to make the trials run better. We also did that. There was a lot of learning from the consortium, so that as time has passed, we've become faster at overcoming some of the problems that we've had. And so I think in almost every case, we turned the challenges into opportunities. In terms of achievements, I think having managed to completely finish the first trial, we're only halfway through the consortium's lifespan. It's a big achievement. Lots of leadership there from our colleagues at LMU in Germany. And we're almost finished, 75% of the way through recruitment of the Paradigm trial, which is probably the biggest multi-regimen platform trial ever done in TB drug development. So to be so near the end of the first phase of that is also a big achievement. I think that the extent of collaboration is a real achievement of UNITE4TB, and I think it's something that we don't often recognize as much as we should, because we're not just asking people to collaborate across academic institutions, we're asking people to collaborate from different working cultures. So trying to get really strong collaboration between, for example, some of our pharmaceutical partners from the FPA group, and some of the academic institutions, and then some of the public health stakeholders. Although we all want the same thing, we're all used to working in slightly different ways and trying to harmonize our ways of working to accommodate one another. It's not always easy, but I think the fact that we've always managed to do that in a friendly and cordial and collaborative way, sometimes being willing to compromise on things that we individually thought were important to achieve something that was beneficial for everyone. I think it's been a real cause for celebration, I think, in the consortium. Nothing like this has been done before, I don't think, in the field of TB research. We brought so many people together from so many different disciplines and asked them all to try and do the same thing. And I think the extent of collaboration there is, when you think about it, quite extraordinary. We also had to build a collaboration between the scientific network, which is to a certain extent Eurocentric, because it's a European Commission funded project, and an international set of site investigators across Africa, across Asia, across South America, and across some parts of Europe. And so trying to ensure that there's real integration between the global footprint of the trials and the European focus of some of the scientific leadership is also been something we've had to put imagination into, but it's worked, and we've got a large number of site investigators here today. So I think that also shows the real strength of UNITE4TB. What I really hope is that the networks that we've built and the kind of working group that we've built survives longer in the consortium, and it becomes a kind of machine that can deliver better things for TB patients, not just in the next 3 years, but in the next 10 years, in the next 20 years, until tuberculosis is eliminated as a public health problem. The project should affect TB research, I think, in two ways. The simplest way is it should bring new drugs closer to patients. So we're a phase 2 clinical trials consortium, which means that after our trials, we're not going to license the drugs. They have to go through further stages of evaluation. But phase 2 evaluation of TB drugs has been a bit of a graveyard. It takes a long time to do, and lots of drugs don't make it through. And then some of the drugs that do make it through then fail at the next hurdle. So we are confident, because of the number of assets, because of the diversity of mechanisms of action of the assets, and because of the innovative trial designs that we're using, that we've got a high chance of getting drugs through. So hopefully we will get drugs closer to patients faster. But also I think we're conducting our clinical trials in a different way than they've been conducted before. They're bigger. Paradigm has more than 10 arms in first phase, and then has 4 additional arms starting. So we're able to compare more different drug regimens at the same time. We're being brave enough to bring in multiple different new drugs and to study them alongside one another, which I think is something that the community has been reluctant to do in the past. And we're trying to run trial designs which we call adaptive, meaning we can make decisions during them. So if we discover that one treatment is not working, we can stop it, but continue the trial. And so we hope that by doing that, and also by incorporating new biomarkers to measure treatment response, by having a whole work package devoted to artificial intelligence so that we can use machine learning tools to learn more from our data than we can see by ourselves, and to do that more quickly. What we really hope is that TB trials will be run in a different way from now on, not just by us, but by everyone, so that we hope our drugs succeed this time round, but even if they don't, the pathway to getting drugs to succeed will be shorter. And we hope that will help drug developers. We hope it will help patients because they'll get new medicine quicker. And we hope it'll help policymakers like the World Health Organization and national TB programs, because we hope to supply them with better, more complete data faster, so that they can make confident decisions about what the best drugs to put into their programs are.
So let's end together.